with customers across domains to help them adopt MATLAB and Simulink in their workflows. Prior to joining MathWorks, Kishore worked for Huawei Technologies, handling telecom clients internationally in around 7 countries. He was also an engineer at Ormi Solutions, where he was involved in the design and development of custom OFDM-based communication systems for defense applications. Kishore Garu holds a bachelor's degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering from JNTU Kakinada. He is passionate about teaching and bringing learnings from books to real walks of life. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, just before we go ahead, right? Do participants have? I mean, could they unmute themselves, or is it hold on?
Yes, sir. We can actually provide that. Till now, we actually made them muted.
Okay.
Only at the questionnaire section, at the last question and answer session, we used to unmute them. If you want us to do, we will enable it, sir.
Yeah. Is the chat enabled for now, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It is enabled.
Okay, I think during the session we can
Yeah,
take the questions as the chat through the chat, and once
sure,
we
sir.
come to the, or whenever we stop, right, at
Okay.
that moment we can take the questions through mic as well.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So let me start sharing my screen and we can get started.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, you wanted me to read the questions during the session, sir, if at all anything posted?
I think I'll have.
Okay, sir. You will be monitoring.
Yeah, I'll monitor them. We have someone from our team as well. I think. Let me check if they are in the call or not.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, we have someone from our team
Kishore,
as well. Yeah, Ramana, could you
Kishore,
hear
I'm
me?
here. Yeah, I can
sure.
hear you.
Yeah, so whenever there is a question, right, maybe we can just hint us and we can stop at the particular moments.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Are you able to see my screen now?
It's not yet visible, sir.
Okay, let me start again.
It's visible now, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So hello everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the session on the road to 5G, simulating and prototyping wireless systems. Myself, Kishore Siddhani. Like as was told during the introduction, I'm an application engineer at MathWorks, based out of Hyderabad office. Based out of home for the past 1.5 years. And my focus areas are mainly into wireless communications and FPGA design. And I mainly work with DRDO and ISRO labs in providing solutions to their problem statements using MATLAB and Simulink. So in this session, right, our focus will be on mainly simulating. I mean, how do we model and then simulate 5G systems using MATLAB and Simulink? And we have a session coming up tomorrow at 2 p.m. again from MathWorks, which is on employing artificial intelligence for 5G wireless communications. I request you to be part of that session as well. So without much ado, let's get started and we can roll on. And I have a bit of quite a long content to cover. I hope we'll be able to cover that up. And if at any point of time you have questions, right, please feel free to post them in the chat. We'll be taking short breaks at end of each sections, and we can go through your questions to answer them. And again, at the end, we can have a questionnaire section based on the time available. So as part of today's session, right, we'll be starting with looking over what are the 5G applications and what are the requirements to achieve those applications. And then we'll be going through design, modeling and simulating an entire 5G physical layer system in a MATLAB and how do we simulate that. And also we'll go through what are the important concepts of like why do we need a power amplifier linearization and discuss something about massive MIMO and hybrid beamforming, as well as once you have the model in MATLAB and Simulink, right, how do we prototype and take this to implement on the hardware, actual hardware. So these are the points that we are going to cover. So let's get started with the viewing at the applications itself first. So if you look at 5G, right, the goals of 5G are very broad and ambitious, and they are not just limited to our mobiles or just smartphones. They go well beyond our current usage of 4G LTE, and they find paths into like smart homes, industry automation, 3D video conferencing, ultra UHD, AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality. So many of those coming into these 5G goals. And if you have to actually bucket all these 5G applications into groups, right? We can mainly categorize them into three sections. One is enhanced mobile broadband (EMBB), which is where we are trying to achieve high data rates. And then URLLC, which is ultra reliable and low latency. And the other one is massive machine type comms. So these are the three configurations in which you can use 5G. So that is one network. You are trying to use it for multiple applications or multiple configurations. We'll discuss in detail about these three configurations as well. So first one, when we look at enhanced mobile broadband, right? So it is like you are trying to increase your data rate by increasing your bandwidth. So wherein these applications will cover like virtual reality, augmented reality, and ultra HD video streamings. And the other one is massive machine type communication, whereas you're trying to increase connectivity, and this will lead to applications like industrial IoT, bringing in smart cities and smart meters for large scale monitoring of the systems. And the other one is URLLC, where it is ultra reliable low latency communication, wherein you try to achieve latencies as low as of 1 milliseconds, and these are mainly useful for like online video gaming and vehicle to vehicle communication or automated driving applications. Wherein we can divide these three sections, and these three are the main categories of 5G applications. Okay, this is good, but how do we achieve these applications, or how do 5G is able to facilitate these three kinds of goals using the current standard? So let's look at what are the technical solutions that we have to achieve our goals of like increasing data rate, increasing the connectivity, and increasing the or reducing the latency. So if we look at a high level, right, we can mainly maybe take a four main technical solutions. One is increasing bandwidth, wherein it is similar to like your if you have a broad road, right, you will have a free flow of traffic. So in order to increase your data rate, your one technical solution can be increasing the bandwidth at which your current communication operates. And then the next one is better spectral efficiency, so that you will be able to utilize all the available bandwidth that was provided to you. And also spectral efficiency again talks about like having a better adjacent channel leakage ratios and all. And another thing is having a flexible air interface to access the medium. And then densification means employing more of Z-node Bs, so that you will have a better coverage at every point of the location. So again, how do these technical solutions are being translated into the existing 5G standard that was defined by 3GPP standard body? So one is, in order to increase bandwidth, right? Now, unlike 4G LTE, which now the current 5G will be able to operate at FR2 band, which is a millimeter wave band, like from sub 6 gigahertz band to now it is going up to 60 gigahertz, giving you a more bandwidth for better operation. And then also the standard specifies a new physical layer, giving you multiple configurations, like as we saw just before 2 slides, right? Like we are talking about different kinds of configuration to increase data rate, to reduce latency, and also to have a better operation. So the new physical layer standard that gets defined by the 3GPP bodies talks about the new options from this standard. And then the standard also talks about having a good RF structures. Just a second. So wherein RF structures are very important when we are going for high frequencies, so that you you are designing a more how to say more sort of linear RF component, so that you would be free from any non-linearities or distortion-free transmissions. And the third component that is important here is massive MIMOs. So with when we are operating at high frequencies, there are high propagation losses within the medium. So what we are employing here is a massive MIMOs to stream the how to say signal from the G node B towards specifically towards the specific UE using beam steering and hybrid beam forming, which we will be discussing in detail as we go through. So like as listed on this slide, right, these are the important components, like having a new physical layer and a more linear RF structure, and then employing massive MIMO communications to attain your 5G goals. So in this session, as we go forward, right, we will pick up each of these, like how do we achieve a physical layer implementation using MATLAB and Simulink, and also how do we improve fidelity of the system by including RFFX also, and then also how can we bring in the massive MIMO capabilities also into the system. Okay. So again, our this discussion will be mostly focusing towards giving you an idea of how you can model and simulate your 5G systems within MATLAB and Simulink. And I mean, for the standard part, right? If you are new to the 5G standard or 5G NR standard, we have a series of videos. Like we have a 16 short videos on our website explaining you each and every how to say parameter in a 5G, compared that to with a 4G LTE system. I would highly recommend you to go through this video series. I'll be sharing this slide deck at the end, so that you can go through the link and view the videos that are available on our website regarding the 5G standard itself. Our main focus throughout this session will be mostly on our implementation or modeling of these 5G systems in MATLAB and Simulink. Okay, right? So as we saw in the previous slides, right? So three components we are going to discuss. One is physical layer, next one is RF, and the third one is massive MIMOs. So and we will see the first about the physical layer and simulation. But before we go into, let me give you a overview of a general wireless system. Okay, I think maybe before I go there also, I'll just stop and check for the chart. So, ma'am, is the chart enabled, right? Hello? Could you hear me?
Yeah, Kishore, you are
Yes,
audible.
sir. Can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, ma'am. So the chart is enabled, right?
Yes, sir, it is enabled.
Okay. So I think we have Ramana, our colleague, posted a question in the chat. So are you aware of the 5G toolbox now? I mean, before I go and introduce you to the 5G toolbox, are you aware of it? You can type in your answers to the question, and I know this is a post lunch session and it's a long session. It's a natural that we would be may not be active, but yeah, we can make this session as interactive as possible, and we will also go through much more demos as we go ahead, make this more in. So I request participant, right? Maybe you can type in yes or no based on are you aware of a 5G toolbox from MathWorks before or not, before I go to the next slide. Okay, I started getting the responses. I see some no's, which is also good. We will be discussing that in our next slides. Yes, are most welcome. Please. I think we have around like good how many, like we have around 80 attendees. So yeah, we would love to see more responses from audience. Just give us a yes or no for your if you are aware of 5G toolbox or not. Yeah, then I think we are getting slow responses. Okay. So some of them they know about the toolbox, and some of them are new to the toolbox. Both would uh, be I mean easy to you will be feel it easy to go through as we go through the next slides. So first of all, before I go and introduce the 5G toolbox as well, first let me talk about the wireless system itself, right? So if you take any wireless system, not necessarily a 5G system, you can actually broadly classify that into three main parts. One, we call it as a baseband, which consists of physical layer, algorithms, waveforms, and where we model our measurements. And the next part consists of RF front end, which again consists of ADCs and DACs to convert from digital to analog domains. And then you have modulators and other nonlinear RF components like power amplifiers. And at the receiver, you will have low noise amplifiers and the demodulator components. And the third section of a general wireless system is antennas and antenna arrays, which would transmit your incoming electric signal into a electromagnetic signal and transmit through the medium, right? Again, while channel is not a inherent part of the system, is also a very important component in the system when we have to look at like how would be my system performance when I am transmitting and receiving. So between the transmitter and receiver, my signal will be affected through as it passes through the channel. So the channel will play a critical role when we are actually trying to simulate end-to-end systems, like when we are trying to simulate from a transmitter and then pass through the channel and then we receive at the receiver, right? So these three are the key components of a wireless system. And we saw in just through the previous slides that for a baseband 5G, we have a new physical layer defined by 3GPP standard. And for RF, we need a more linear power amplifiers. And for antennas, we need a massive MIMO antennas for 5G. So we will discuss in detail these three sections. So let me start with the 5G. So first, before we go ahead discussing about the physical layer, right? So if you have to, like, let's say at this point of time you are going through and very much FDP training, and you might think after this series of sessions, you might want to implement a 5G system. So what would be the first step is generally you have to read through your entire 5G specifications and understand the theory part of that standard. And then not that, again you need to implement the algorithm what was specified in the standard, which would take a significant amount of time. And then again, once you implement your first cut of the model, then you need to verify this whatever the algorithm that you implemented, whether it is in compliance to your 5G standard or not. So this would generally take a long time and how to say, reduce your development speed. And these are critical challenges in advanced wireless systems like 5G. So here is where 5G toolbox from MathWorks comes into place with box support for 5G, and it will let you focus on what matters the most. That is modeling and simulating the system, and not focusing your time just going through the standard and understanding it by itself. So how does 5G toolbox help in achieving this? Like how can it simplify your modeling and simulation part, or how can it make it easy? So if I have to look at a 5G toolbox use cases, right, I can maybe again classify it into three parts, starting with waveform generation. Wherein what I mean by waveform generation here is that 5G toolbox enables you to generate the 5G compliant waveforms directly. Like you can generate a fixed reference channel waveform, or a new radio test models, or a custom waveforms based on the 3GPP standard. So with how we generate, we will be seeing it in a in the next slide. So this is one. you can off the shelf generate your 5G compliant waveforms. And the next thing is measurement. So once you implement the system, right, the next necessary step would be to how is my system performing. So in order to look at your performance of the system, you might need to look at the components like ACLR, which is adjacent channel leakage ratio, and EVM error vector magnitude parameters of the end-to-end simulation. As well, you might need to do an end-to-end simulation to what we say look at a performance curves like BER versus SNR curves, giving you at what SNR you would be achieving your required BER for a specific configuration. So all these three things like waveform generation, measurements, and end-to-end simulation can be easily achieved through the 5G toolbox with its supports for 3GPP 5G standard. Along with this, right, 5G toolbox enable you to whatever the like waveform that is generated, right, you can interface that with your real RF signal generators to transmit the signal, or you can use an SDR devices to to stream the RF signals into your MATLAB or Simulink, and then process your 5G signals inside your MATLAB and Simulink platform. So one way you can generate and transmit, or you can either receive the signal through an RF component and then get the signal back into MATLAB and Simulink, and then do the necessary processing required for 5G decoding, right? So, like as I listed here, I will go through each of these things again in detail. So, I mean, again, this is as we go through the presentation, it is important that just to reiterate and see where we are. So currently we are discussing about the physical layer part. And within the physical layer, we are introducing how 5G is useful for physical layer modeling. And within 5G toolbox, we are now discussing about each of its capabilities like waveform generation, measurements, and end-to-end simulation. Now we will go through the waveform generation part of the 5G toolbox capability, right? So like I was telling, right, instead of you going through all the standard and all, you can 5G toolbox helps you. How it helps is it comes up with a app called as 5G waveform generator, which is again part of a wireless waveform generator app, wherein you can generate the uplink or downlink, either custom waveforms or a fixed reference channel FRC, downlink FRC or uplink FRC, or you can define. You can also generate the 5G test models, which are defined in the 3GPP standards very intuitively and directly by interactively now using the waveform app, right? We'll see through an example in the next slide. So again, so what are the 5G NR test models or fixed reference channel models that are supported as of now? These are the defined how to say fixed reference channel models or the test models defined in 3GPP standard, and all of them are directly supported from the 5G toolbox for you to just click and generate the entire waveform specific to that specific test model. Okay. And not just that, if you are new, these might if you are new to the 5G standard itself, right, these might seem a bit new, but these define the frame structure within your 5G waveform. And you, as I told, right, you will be able to generate a custom waveform as defined in the 3GPP, and you can also customize each frame within the generated waveform. Like you can customize your physical downlink shared channel, or physical uplink shared channel, or control channel, or broadcast channel, or random access channel, and also whatever the synchronization or reference signals that you are generating, the primary synchronous sequence or the secondary sequence, or demodulation reference signals, or the channel CSIRS reference signals. All these things you can customize in the app, and you can generate your own waveform based on the 3GPP standard, not just the 5G NR test models that are defined in the 3GPP standard. Now let me go to the MATLAB and Simulink window, and I'll show you like how can we use the waveform app and how can we generate the waveforms easily. Let me know or give me a thumbs up in the Teams if you are able to see my MATLAB window. You have a reaction symbols, I think enabled. So if you have them enabled, give me a thumbs up. or you can post in the chat. Yeah, I can see some of you giving a thumbs up. Yeah, please go ahead and let me know if you are able to see the screen. Okay. I think I got a few thumbs ups, and I think you are all able to see my screen. So this is the MATLAB window. I am using latest release R2021A. So as you might have already known, right, MATLAB is a great programming language for easily algorithm designing, and not just the programming interface. It also offers a great interactive interface based on its toolbox for you to able to use the toolbox very interactively. So that means it provides you with a GUI kind of programming as well. That means you can interactively interact with the apps available and can utilize the toolboxes to model your algorithms. So as I was defining, right, here are a lot of apps available for each of the, I mean, for many of the toolboxes that comes together with MATLAB and Simulink. So for the 5G waveform generator, right, this will be under a signal processing and communication. You can go to here and just click on the 5G waveform generator. And then you will see it gets opened up in a wireless waveform generator app with 5G available. So I hope my screen is visible. There might be a resolution differences, but I will read you through the components that I am clicking on the screen so that you will be able to understand what are those parameters. So once you open the app, right, it will come up with a interface like this. And what you see here, like NR5G new radio, these are the capabilities to generate different kinds of waveforms directly. So the 5G downlink and uplink means you can generate a custom 5G or custom 5G downlink or uplink. And if it is a FRC, 5G downlink FRC is fixed reference channel downlink and fixed reference channel uplink. And then we have a lot of test models as defined in the NR standard, 3GPP standard that you can generate. So let me show you an example with uplink reference, fixed reference channel. So once you click on that, right, it will give you out all the available options for you to generate that specific waveform. So here you can select what is the frequency region of operation. Is it a sub 6 gigahertz or a millimeter wave band? I'll go with FR1 band, and you can now select MCS, modulation and coding scheme. I'll select a 64 QAM signal, and then you can select the what is the fixed reference channel model. Maybe I'll go ahead with the last one, which is a 100 megahertz channel bandwidth model. Okay, so these parameters will define what kind of waveform that you are going to generate. Again, not just the waveform parameters, you also have impairments that you can add to the waveform that you are generating. Like you can add a phase offset or frequency offset to the generated waveform. Maybe I'll add a phase offset, and you can also add other nonlinearities like IQ imbalance or memoryless cubic nonlinearity, or add a AWG and noise to the transmitted signal, right? So once you select your main components, and once you select your impairments, you can then just directly click on generate here to generate the how to say whatever the waveform that you would like to have. So this is the 100 megahertz channel bandwidth. You can see this is a -50 to 50. This is a 100 megahertz 5G signal that we are generating. And down here is a OFDM grid or a resource grid, which is now completely occupied with uplink shared channel data. And what you're seeing on the right bottom is a channel view indicating which bandwidth is occupied by the transmitted OFDM signal. You can see that -50 to 50 is occupied, and it is indicating the channel edges as well. So like as we saw here, right, you can easily generate a waveform, not just generating and visualizing. So as I told, right, it is very easy to interface with RF, I mean instruments, RF instruments, if you have them connected to the PC that is having MATLAB and Simulink. So once you have a specific instrument, right, now I am generating a FRC uplink 5G waveform. You can then select the instrument here, configure the instrument with based on the instrument IP address, and then select your what is your center frequency for transmission, give your how to say bandwidth, or what you would like to be your your output power, and then just click on transmit, so that whatever the 5G compliant waveform which you are now generating very directly from the app, you would be able to transmit it through your RF instrument through the real space. So that's how it's very easy to directly generate and test your the systems as well. So we looked at 5G, uplink FRC. There are also a lot of 5G test models available. Like if you click on test models here, right, you can drop down arrow and see the various NR test models available for you to generate and test. Similarly, if I click on like 5G downlink, right? So this will open up. This is like a again 5G compliant standard, but you have all the access to configure each and every parameter within the frame. Like suppose if I click 5G downlink, you will be now having options to configure your signal burst, downlink shared channel, downlink control channel, and what is your CSI reference channel. Everything you would be able to control and configure your what is your core set configuration or what is your aggregation in information in the transmitted signal. This is again compliant to 5G, and you are able to configure it completely what I mean in the way that you want. It is available for both downlink and uplink, right? And again, once you do that, right, the adding impairments on transmitter is similar. And one more option that I want your attention to is whatever you generate a waveform, right, you can completely export it using the call export and export MATLAB script. So what it will do is it will export, whatever parameter that you chose in the app into a MATLAB script. So next time when you want like the script to run over several times, you need not go to app and design every time. You have the script now, and you just simulate or write a for loop script at the top of it, so that this script will run multiple times to give you generated waveform multiple times, right? And again, one of the very key important feature from 5G toolbox is like as I told, right, 5G toolbox have implemented everything 5G compliant, and whatever implemented is completely white box. So what I mean by white box is that suppose if I have a like SS burst configuration, so if I click on right click and click on open, right, it will open the actual source code, like how is this being done for SS configuration. The entire source code is available for you to view, and if you have any modifications that you want to do, you are free to edit this and modify as per your requirement as well. So whatever the functions that are used in the 5G toolbox are completely open box for the users to view them. So let me come back to the presentation. So I hope you got a fair bit of idea into like how you can use a waveform generator app to use it for the wireless waveform generation, right? So let's now go to a end-to-end simulation or link level simulation. So first, to give you what is link level simulation, a very simple idea. You have a transmitter, and then you have a receiver, and between you will have a channel, and you want to try to simulate starting from transmitter to receiver. Do the entire simulation and see what will be your like performance result, like what is my bit error rate, and at what bit error, at what SNR I am achieving my required bit error rate, those kind of things. So in those lines, right, one of the important thing to note here is the channel model that is staying in between the transmitter and receiver. And again, the technical report from 3GPP body, the technical report 38.901, this report defines a specific channel models that you might want to test your 5G system. Again, there are two kinds of model. One is a TDL channel model, which is the tapered delay line model. It is again, and the other one is a CDL channel model, which is a cluster delay line channel model. So again, the TDL channel model is, inside it has different profiles like A, B, C, D, E are a custom profile, and it is a generally normal 2D channel model. It defines delay spread and Doppler shift and MIMO correlation between the transmitter to receiver to simulate your system. Whereas when you look at CDL channel model, right, this is more sophisticated channel model, giving rise to spatial correlations, and it exists more in terms of 3D. So again, these two channel models, both the TDL channel model and CDL channel model, are off the shelf available from 5G Toolbox. So you just need to select the model and use it in your simulation when you are doing the end-to-end link level simulation. Okay. So not just the TDL and the CDL channel models, by utilizing the channel models that are coming from communications toolbox and some features from phased array system toolbox, right? You would be able to simulate a free space path loss channel between transmitter to receiver, and also not just free space path loss, but also if there is some effects like gases, fog, clouds between your transmitter to receiver, how would be my attenuation of the signal as it go from transmitter to receiver? You would be able to simulate that as well. And generally my 5G systems are MIMO. You would be able to simulate a MIMO multipath fading channels as well, and other channel models like VNA 2 channel model scattering. Just a second, and scattering MIMO channel models, other than the TDL and CDL channel models that are defined in the 3GPP standard. So again, these are all off the shelf available from MATLAB and Simulink platform. You just need to select the channel model that you might want to simulate, and can analyze the transmitter to receiver, how this channel is affecting your transmit signal, and how am I correcting it at the receiver side, right? So again, to much more simplify your process, or your system implementation process, we do have examples for NR physical downlink shared channel throughput analysis, wherein you have a complete transmitter section. It starts from DLSH frame, and then encoding it to PDSH, and then doing the pre-coding, and then finally generating the OFDM waveform and transmitting it through a channel model, again a CDL channel model or a TDL channel model, and then going it through the complete receiver chain for decoding the frame. That means you are starting at the transmitter and going over the entire chain for end-to-end link level simulation. So we have an example available for this. So maybe to quickly point you to that, I'll open MATLAB and show where you can find that. Again, a quick question. Ramana, maybe you can give me a heads up if you are able to see my help documentation screen.
Yes, now it's up.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Is there any latency between what I'm speaking and how the slides are going?
Not much, Kishore, but I heard some jitter twice, but it's fine now.
Sure, sure. Yeah, please, if there is anything that is impacting,
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
know.
I will let you know.
So now I am talking about a link level simulation, and if I'm trying to show you an example of a link level end-to-end simulation. So if you go to 5G in the documentation section, if you go to again, how you can access documentation is in the home page. You can just click on the help, and you would be arriving at the documentation page. And in the documentation, if you go to examples and 5G toolbox, you have end-to-end simulation section wherein you can click on this NR PDSH throughput example, which will give like end-to-end simulation, starting from shared channel here to finally decoding that channel. So if I open the script, right? So this is the complete script for doing this end-to-end simulation. I mean, I do not want to go through the entire script, but I want to highlight one of the key things that I showed. Just give me a second. I mean, yeah. So what here is doing is it is passing the signal through all the blocks that are shown in here in orange and through the yellow, and to final to the receiver side. So what I want to highlight here is that just Yeah. So, so what I want to highlight in this main example is that if you see there are this has both transmitter and receiver, right? If you see the top will be transmitter and now starts the receiver. So inside the receiver, it is using some like how to say. Where is this section? Yeah, inside. So this is the receiver section. If you see, it is starting at the start. It is using timing synchronization and then OFDM demodulation, channel estimation, and then the PDSH decoding, right? So for even for those algorithms, like how it is doing timing synchronization, which is again a very a complex operation when you look at a 5G thing, even those functions are completely white box, and you will be able to, like, suppose if you see this is NR perfect timing estimate technique. So you will be able to open the internal functions and you can see the algorithm what was being implemented inside to achieve the functionality. So not just the timing estimate, you can also see the other components in the receiver, like how is channel estimation being done, how is OFDM demod being done in this using this NR link to link simulation example, right? So this is for physical layer downlink channel shared channel throughput simulation. Similarly, you have something for uplink processing as well. It's again end-to-end, wherein you will see now shared channel uplink. So it's again passing through a channel model, and at the receiver side, you will now again have a similar kind of time sync and all as per the uplink parameters. And as I again reiterating, right? So whatever the each modules that you see in the receiver, they are completely open white box, and you will be able to see what is the algorithm used inside to achieve that specific functionality. So what MATLAB or Simulink is providing you is that it is providing a platform readily available with all the examples and for you to easily generate and test, and also giving you the complete flexibility to edit wherever you may want to edit as well. Okay. So I think I'll go to the next section. So we saw two things. First, waveform generation, and then the next one is end-to-end link level simulation. And the third one I want to concentrate is on measurements. Again, here we have examples readily available, live scripts, wherein you can use a 5G toolbox to do ACLR. Like what is ACLR here is the adjacent channel leakage ratio. Just a second. Adjacent channel leakage ratio measurement. We have an example again. If you go to the help section, right? Where is this? Yeah, if you go to test and measurement, you can see here various example, and here you can see 5G and downlink ACLR measurement. So here you can see like in this specific example, we are generating an NR waveform and then filtering it and upsampling it, and then then we are doing ACLR measurement. How is my output without filtering and with filtering? Like if you look at this example, right? So without filtering, I can see that there is a significant amount of signal in the adjacent band as well, which is not desirable. So after filtering, when I am checking the ACLR measurement, I can see a reduction in after adjacent channel after filtering, and an improvement in the ACLR gain by 40 dB. So yeah, so you have a readily available examples for measurement sections as well, like ACLR measurement, and then error vector magnitude measurement, wherein you generate a NR waveform, which is easy to generate from waveform generator app. You add impairments like we saw here. We are adding phase noise and other nonlinearities, and then passing through end-to-end link simulation to look through the how is my error vector magnitude for each of my configuration. Again, you also have a CSI related CSI related measurement, which will indicate the channel quality. The examples related for these are also off the shelf available within the 5G toolbox. So, so coming to, giving a summary on the 5G toolbox and itself, right? It has 5G specification functions and a lot of examples for you to easily build up the physical layer that was specified in 3GPP standard without how to say, you have to start from everything at a scratch. You have all the everything available now. You can make use of the existing waveform generator apps and the examples to get you started immediately, and is also backed up by a extensive documentation, not just for 5G toolbox. For all the toolbox that comes with MATLAB and Simulink, you have a very dedicated documentation available, giving you highlights on each of the functionality and how you can achieve them as well. And these 5G results are verified against external sources as well. And the point that I keep iterating, whatever the how to say functions that we have seen are completely open, and you can visualize the MATLAB source code. So one advantage is if you want to tweak and tune any of this code, you are completely open to change and use it in your own systems for you to explore on that front. And as well, whatever the MATLAB code that is there, right? If you are looking at generating a how to say C code, maybe you might want to use it in some DSP processors or some parts. So the whatever the functions that are coming from 5G toolbox, they are C code generated, C code supported. You can generate the C code from the existing MATLAB source codes. So they are C code generatable easily. I mean, at the end, I will also, when I'm talking about prototyping and implementation, I will talk about how you are actually able to generate the C code as well. What is the product that is helping in it? Yeah, before I move to the next section from physical layer to the next part, RF and antennas, I want to bring your attention to one of a very recent user story from one of our Indian customers, Leica Wireless. So they have adopted MATLAB and 5G toolbox in developing their 5G and NR physical layer IP. And like as you can see here, the results quoted by them, right? So with the all the things that are off the shelf available, without them not needing to start everything from scratch, the development time is very much half. And with all the testing frameworks also available, the RF testing times or the framework testing times are cut by around like from 8 months to less than a month, which is a significant amount of achievement in terms of project durations and the deadlines that you might need to meet. So that's on the 5G toolbox front, and how to say on the baseband physical layer part. So again, I'll stop here for a moment. If you have any questions, please feel free to post. I think we have again 30 plus 10, 40 minutes more, and I think we will be good to cover the remaining parts. So participants, like on the 5G toolbox, like we have seen its capabilities like waveform generation, measurements like EVM or ACLR measurements, and then end-to-end link level simulation, which are off the shelf available. You have any questions? Ma'am, I think at this point, right, maybe it is also better if we can unmute the participants. So if they have any questions, they may be free to ask directly. Hello. Is Achna ma'am is in the call? Anyone from the organization team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. So I think, at this moment, right, maybe if we can allow the participant to unmute, if they have any specific queries, they can ask, or they can continue to type in chat, but if they have anything, they can ask as well.
Sir, there is a facility that they can unmute themselves.
Themselves now, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone, if you have any specific questions, which you might want to discuss, right? Feel free to discuss. We'll be happy to answer your questions as well. Okay, I have a question, one question from here. So, hello sir, can we apply turbo codes in 5G? Again, what are the coding techniques that you might want to use in the 5G physical layer implementation, right? They are actually defined. Suppose if you see, comparing the 5G with 4G LTE, in the 5G, the standard asks us to use LDPC encoding when you are generating a shared channel. So LDPC are the ones that are recommended. So whatever the codes are the error correction codes that you might want to implement, they are defined in the standard itself. I hope that answered your question. So currently, I can see LDPC codes being used in 5G widely for transmission and reception. Okay. Is this code available in documentation? Hi, Nandakishore. I think you're asking about the, I mean, whatever the source code that I showed you, right? So as I was reiterating through the presentation, right? All the code, like whatever I am showing, is available, but it is not available in documentation. Like what I mean by not available in documentation. So suppose if you see documentation, right? It will show you the test framework for doing a end-to-end simulation. Like first it will do DLSCH shared channel and then the PDSH shared channel implementation like this. But if you suppose it will select a function for timing synchronization and pass your signal through the timing synchronization and get the output. But if you want to look into what is inside the timing synchronization, you might want to open this example in MATLAB and then as I showed you, right, just right click and open that. I hope that answers your question. So not directly in the documentation for each of the algorithm, each of the block is using. You can open the example and then right click on any part of that, like suppose NR-OFDM demodulation. So how, if you want to know how demodulation is being done, you just right click and click on open demodulate. So you will see the what is the demodulation code or the algorithm that is being implemented. Yeah, I hope that got it. Sure. So I think in the interest of time, right, just let's get move forward. So until now we have saw about physical layer, 5G physical layer and its implementation using. Can we extract? Oh, sorry, I got one question here. Can we extract the particular parameter for different iterations? Say for example, or the period SNR. Absolutely, you can do that. MATLAB, like. I mean, if you are familiar with the normal N2 BER simulations with MATLAB, like for maybe QPSK system or a BPSK system, how you would run it over a multiple loops for different SNRs, you are able to run it over multiple SNR and whatever the parameters that you want, right? So for each simulations, the variables get stored in something called as workspace here, and you are completely free to access any of the particular variable that from the entire simulation. Hope that again answers your question. Okay, so let me move ahead. So the next part is RF part, which is the second component in our entire wireless system. We saw baseband and how 5G toolbox helps. Now let us concentrate on the RF part. But in the RF part, right, I am again, how to say, basing 5G system as my RF 5G as the main topic of discussion for this session. So I want to concentrate on one of the key RF component, and what is a major requirement for 5G implementation system is power amplifier. So if you know about the power amplifier, right, it's nothing but you give some input signal and you want the system to just amplify it and give the signal. So suppose if you want if you are giving a a number 2 as an input, you want the output system to maybe amplify it by 2 and give 4. You give 3, you want 6. You give 8, you want 16. So that is true as long as your power amplifier characteristics are linear. But if you see general power amplifiers, right, they are not entirely linear. They have a non-linear curves as you would see here. So the characteristics are not linear at high input powers. So that means if you are giving 10, you are expecting 20, but you might only get 15 or 16. And again, in terms of power, what this will translate into is this non-linearities will transfer into intermodulations and undesired frequencies in the output. So, okay, what is the technique or the available techniques available to get a linear characteristics like as we want is just use another component called as DPD or a digital pre-distorter. And the characteristics of DPD are in such a way that they are opposite to what is of your power amplifier characteristics. So that I mean, when you are sending the input signal and when you are passing through a DPD which is of this characteristics and then passing through a PA of this characteristics, they would cancel out each other, their non-linearity, and their resultant effect would be something a linear that you would want to have at the output of power amplifier. So this looks very simple in theory part, but if you look deep into power amplifier, right, this is not only just this is not just non-linear. It also have something other impairment, that is it has a memory based. So what we mean by the characteristics are memory based means at any point the output of the power amplifier, it might depend on its previous input or the existing input at the signal at the input of the power amplifier as well. So this what we call as memory effect. So I mean, so in order to design your DPD, you first need to have you want to know how your power amplifier is functioning. And if it is just non-linear, you might model this power amplifier using how to say your mathematical equations, like maybe if you can use a line equation or a parabola equation or something like that. But here you can see these characteristics are not only nonlinear but also having a memory effect. So for this, in order to model the power amplifier first, before we go into DPD, in order to model power amplifier, we need something called as memory polynomial to express what are the characteristics of power amplifier first. So now I will talk about first how we characterize this power amplifier, and then we will talk about the DPD part. Okay, so what are the resources available to characterize a power amplifier, which is a non-linear and also which is having a memory backoff? So first, how you can do is take a power amplifier, which is a real power amplifier, send some input signals and record your output signal. So then you will have for specific input, what will be your output at each power point, right? And then you can plot input voltage across power gain. That means at each input, what is your gain. So if this gain plot is completely straight horizontal line, then we call it as a complete linear circuit. But here it is not linear, and you have a non-linear characteristics of power amplifier, right? So once you have these characteristics and once you get these graphs, then what you can use is you can use something called as MATLAB fitting procedure, which is again like all the 5G toolbox algorithms, is also a completely white box algorithm, which you can use to fit the characteristics of your original power amplifier into a gain transfer function, and can derive what is something called as power amplifier model coefficients. To put everything into small words, right, or a basic words. So what you need is you need power amplifier model coefficients which will characterize your model. So I'm able to define a power amplifier using these power amplifier model coefficients. So once I get these derive these model coefficients, right, what I will use is I will put these coefficients into a block called as memory polynomial, which is again a block from RF block set to characterize your power amplifier. So by the end of this step, you will now have a power amplifier characterized with your power amplifier model coefficients. So now, as you know your power amplifier, right? And how are the model coefficients of it? The next step would be to design your DPD opposite to that of your power amplifier, right? So we will now see a live example and see how this DPD is working in together with power amplifier. So generally, in order to do a RF simulation in a time domain, we use two products from MathWorks. They are called as RF Toolbox and RF Blockset. And we use something called as circuit envelope simulation for fast RF simulation in Simulink. And so what you see here in the below diagram, so you can see here a power amplifier, right? This is the block that I am talking about, which will hold the values of power amplifier model coefficients. You are defining a power amplifier by its model coefficients, and then you are taking a feedback from the power amplifier and giving it to something called as DPD coefficient estimator. This is also a available block from Simulink, and then using the least square or recursive least square algorithm, you will estimate the coefficients for this DPD, and then you provide it to another block called as DPD that will do the pre-distortion on the incoming signal. So as you do the pre-distort the incoming signal, right, after passing through the power amplifier, you will have a more linear output. Okay. So actually, maybe I'll go to the next slide and show you how this works, right? So this is a recorded video of how this model works. Okay, so now just a second. So here I have a normal amplifier which is defined by its nonlinearity and noise level. This is not a power amplifier, and here I have a power amplifier block. If you see here, right, inside of the power amplifier block, I am defining the characteristics of this power amplifier by you can see filter coefficient matrix. So that I am telling that my power amplifier having this these coefficients, so that I am actually modeling my original power amplifier in a Simulink block. Okay, by giving it using the coefficients, and we discussed in the previous slide how we get these coefficients by doing that fitting process and all. Okay, so I'm now first simulating without DPD. I just have some baseband signal and it is passing through RF section. Again, all the RF block components that you see here, amplifiers and power amplifiers, these are modeled using RF block set. And I'm simulating without DPD. I'm not doing any digital pre-distortion. And if I stop simulation at this point, you can see the waveform is not so good. You can see there is a lot of distortion at the falling edges. And if you observe the average error vector magnitude, which is around minus 15 dB, which isn't quite good enough. Okay. Here are the distortions, and here is the average EVM. Now let us simulate that together with DPD. Now what it will do is it will take the feedback. DPD coefficient estimator will estimate the coefficient and put it into the DPD, and this DPD block will digitally pre-distort the input baseband signal. You can now see the result. Previously, it is around minus 15 dB average error vector magnitude. It is now reduced to minus 26. The error is reduced, and you can also see that the graph is more less distortion, telling that the graph is more linear, or the power amplifier is becoming more linear. Right. So again, linearizing power amplifier is an important concept in 5G systems, and if you are if you are designing a power amplifier and digital pre-distortion algorithms, we do have how to say models available to do the the blocks available to do the modeling and also simulate them in the MATLAB and Simulink platform itself. So here, as I told previously, the digital pre-distortion, it is using either a least square algorithm or a recursive least square algorithm to estimate the coefficients. Okay. So that's about the mainly about the RF part. I want to mainly talk on the how you can actually to design and model a RF system, and how you can design a digital pre-distortion algorithm to linearize your power amplifier. So any questions here as well? So I'll take that as a no, and we'll move. So yeah, two parts completed. One is the physical layer where we are doing it using a 5G toolbox, and then the RF part where we talked about the power amplifier. Uh, sure, Ranjit will be sharing the slide decks and examples to you post the session, and you can try to execute them as well. Yeah, so we talked about this baseband and RF part. RF where we are using RF toolbox and RF block set to model the RF components and linearizing the power amplifier. The next important part is massive MIMOs and the antenna part. The last part of wireless system, right? So before I go and talk about what is a massive MIMO, what is hybrid beamforming, and how you can achieve that modeling completely in MATLAB and Simulink, let me talk about a product. I mean, first, how do you actually design an antenna? How can you bring the antenna effects into Simulink simulation itself? So we do have something called as antenna toolbox, using which antenna design is very easy and natural. So it has got a library of parameterized antenna elements, which means you can tweak and tune the antenna elements to your design parameters to achieve your desired characteristics of the antennas. And the GUI is very simple. And unlike other EM tools for antenna design, you need not to be a EM expert or CAD expert to design an antenna. And also it uses a full wave 3D method of movement solver to do a complete analysis of port field and surface values when you are designing antenna and using it for EM analysis. And one of the major advantages with this antenna toolbox is, as it is completely integrated with MATLAB and Simulink, whatever antenna you design using antenna toolbox, you can easily integrate with your MATLAB and Simulink, like where you have already designed your baseband part and RF part. You can now attach your antenna to your system and can do a complete end-to-end simulation to see the results, right? So, okay, if you ask me how difficult it is to create an antenna in using antenna toolbox, I would say it is as simple as writing these 5 lines of code to just achieve a microstrip patch antenna and visualize its impedance, current, and 3D far field radiation pattern. So even if that isn't cool enough, what we have something is called as antenna designer app, which will again, like as I told, right, for each of the toolboxes we do have, for many of the toolboxes we do have apps which will allow you to interactively interact with the toolboxes and make the process simple. So for antenna design, we have something called as antenna designer app where you can select the antenna elements. I'll show you that. For antenna array designing, wherein you have a multiple set of antenna, we have something called as antenna array designer app. So let's quickly go into the apps and see how we can design an antenna and array designer app. So again, they are available under signal processing and communication SPC. So if I go to the app antenna designer, right, it will open this GUI, or you can click on new, and it will show you a complete set of antenna gallery elements. From you can choose from whole list of like over 100 elements, different kinds of families. So one of my favorite, let me pick up a microstrip patch antenna, and let's say I want to design my system at a 2.4 gigahertz ISM band resonant frequency. So you just need to set the frequency and click accept, right? So it will automatically give you a how to say, a designed microstrip patch antenna, which are with a base and a microstrip patch. And like as I told, right, This is the geometry of this antenna is completely tunable. You have all the parameters, length, width, and height, which you can change and observe your characteristics. Not only that, if you are using a patch antennas, you have a substrates to place, and what you can also choose the what is the metal of this conductor as well. Is it a perfectly electric conductor, or if you want it to be a copper metal, you can select them as well. So once you design the antenna, the analysis is quite simple. You could just need to, how to say, select then impedance here to plot your impedance plot of this antenna. So currently this patch antenna, right, I am designing it at a 2.4 gigahertz. So let us see how the impedance plot of this ISM band microstrip patch antenna. So as I'm designing a 2.4 gigahertz, you can see my reactance is 0 at 2.4 gigahertz, and when the reactance is 0, you say that it's resonating at this frequency. Similarly, you can plot the S parameters plot, current distribution across the surface, and 3D far field radiation pattern. So this is how the far field radiation pattern of this antenna. Again, like if you want to observe in more detail, you can overlay the antenna and see the how is the far field radiation pattern with respect to the plane of the antenna. You can also view the radiation patterns in 2D plots using azimuthal and elevation pattern. So I mean, you can now iteratively change the parameters and can design the antenna to suit to your requirements, to your resonant frequency, to your S parameters, and what should be your how to say azimuth or elevation patterns. So once you finish that, you can export the design as a script. Like just click on export and click script, so that you can export it into a MATLAB script, which you can use later without you not needing to come over to the antenna designer app again and again, right? So yeah, this is similar is the case with antenna array designer app. When you click on the antenna array designer app, a GUI opens up like this. You click on new, and then you will see like a different kinds of arrays. You want a linear array, rectangular array, circular array, or a conformal array, wherein you can place objects in any 3D space, and you can select the element and then select the design frequency and click on accept to design and analyze your antennas. Okay. So that's about this, mainly about antenna arrays and antenna array designer app. Okay. So now let's talk about beamforming a bit. So beamforming is nothing but spatially orienting your signal into a specific direction, especially towards a UE, from G node B towards an UE, when you're talking in terms of 5G. So that you will have a very good SNR between these two transmitter and receiver, and you will also able to achieve high coverage. So okay, beamforming is achieved by beam steering, and how you do achieve that steering is by having a multiple antennas at the transmitter and receiver. So okay, good enough that you have an array of antennas, and you will steer the signal in a particular direction. And how you can do is there are two ways, or at two stages you can do. One is RF beamforming or an analog beamforming, wherein you steer the signal. Like if you see this blue is highlighted here, that means that signal is being transmitted in this specific direction. You steer the signal to transmit in specific direction by changing the phase shift of signals that are being fed to each of the antenna. So if you are doing that by changing the phase shift of the signal that is being fed to antenna, that is called as RF beamforming. And also you can do a beamforming by doing something called as a pre-coding within the baseband part as well. So whatever the incoming baseband waveform that you are generating, you can pre-code it using a known pre-coding matrix to digitally beamform the signal. So you are doing a beamforming at a baseband level, which is a digital beamforming, and then at RF level near the ports that are feeding to the antennas. This is called as RF beamforming. So in general structures, like you need an hybrid beamforming, because sorting to only analog beamforming or digital beamforming wouldn't be effective in 5G systems where you have a lot number of antennas. Like I mean, when you talk about massive MIMO, right? It's about like maybe more than 64 antennas, and which is when you are doing that kind of high antenna structures, it is very difficult to sort to one. So you generally employ an hybrid beamforming to do the beamforming both at a digital and RF beamforming stages. I mean, if you are using MATLAB and Simulink, and if you want to do a beamforming and analyze your system, what is the workflow? It's very simple. So first you generate a waveform, like using a waveform generator app for 5G. Then choose your RF frontend, which is again designed by using RF toolbox and RF block set, and then design an antenna array using your antenna toolbox, and then choose a channel model. Again, channel models are various channel models are available: TDL, CDL, MIMO, free space channel models. Those are available. And then determine the pre-coding matrix that has to be applied at the baseband level for digital beamforming. And then bring out the structure for hybrid beamforming, right? So I'll talk about an example here. Just give me a second. Yeah, so I'll talk about an example here, where like a Simulink model, which is doing this hybrid beamforming. So if you see here, right, maybe I will directly open the example and I'll talk in there. So this is my Ramana. Are you able to see my Simulink screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a Simulink model with where we are doing an hybrid beamforming. Okay, so let us look at the components. We have a QPSK transmitter, which is sending some baseband baseband signal, and then we are doing a hybrid beamforming, and then there is a free space channel, and then there is a receiver array. So I would say, like uh, in Simulink, and when you are especially looking at communication systems, this is one of the most how to say highly I would say high fidelity model. That means you have effects of entire everything in a real world system. That means you are doing the baseband generation. Inside this block, which I would show you, we have both RF and antenna impairments included, and then we have channel included, and then we have complete receiver processing. That means end to end, starting from baseband to all the parts of a what would you see in a general communication system are included in this Simulink model. So that's how, like, Simulink with its multi-domain modeling capability, right? It will provide you a flexibility to model an entire system and simulate it. My focus for showing this is I want to dig into show you the hybrid beamforming in this within this. So here, two things. Uh, this is still in the baseband part. This is the part where we are doing the baseband beamforming. Like you can see here, we have a matrix multiplication, and this is 2 is the incoming input signal, and we are multiplying with a beamformer weights, which is a pre-coding matrix. This is at this part we are doing a digital beamforming, and here this is the RF section, and this is the antennas. So before the signal go through the antennas, right here, actually we are using 32 antenna array, and we dividing it into 4 sub arrays. So eight antenna elements in each section. So you can see this is the RF section. I am using RF components designed using RF toolbox and RF block set. Like you have a power amplifier, you have a modulator, you have an IQ modulator for super heterodyne conversion, and you have this Wilkinson type divider, and whatever the phase shift that you are computing, right? You are having a phase shifters here that are feeding to the antenna. So you are now you are now changing the phase shift based on your computed phase matrix, and you are actually doing a RF beamforming, right? So this is again maybe, I mean, let me go ahead from the back. So inside this, you have a baseband part, which is just QPSK, RRC filter for pulse shaping and everything. And inside this phase shifts and all, you have RF components like IQ modulators, modulators, power amplifiers, introducing your IQ imbalance, DC offset, whatever the non-linearities you name, those are all being introduced at this part. And then we have the next stage in the structure, which is an antennas, which was implemented here from a block from phased array system toolbox, which is a narrowband TX array. If you see here, right, how is the antenna that designed in the antenna toolbox is brought here is inside the sensor array. You have options to select an isotropic antenna or a custom antenna. If you select custom antenna, right, you can bring in any antenna that you design using antenna toolbox, and you will specify what is my magnitude pattern of this antenna and phase pattern of this antenna. That means you are designing an antenna array and bringing it into your simulation. So if you see, this is an end-to-end complete system having everything. Here we have a free space path loss channel. So this is how you can construct an a multi-domain end-to-end system and can simulate within your thing. Now, an important point that I want to add. So here we are using a QPSK transmitter and receiver, but if you are into 5G, right, you can actually replace this QPSK transmitter and receiver with 5G transmitter and 5G receiver. The blocks that I mean, the way during the waveform generation we saw all the alpha anthems, right? You can replace these blocks with that. So the next few slides actually talk about those hybrid beamforming things. So as I opened up and showed you, right? So there is this transmit array, and within that you have a phase shifters, and which phase shifter, each phase shifter will, I mean, each sub array would be looking like this with eight RF chains. Yeah. So the key point here is if you are looking onto the 5G side, right, you can replace the QPSK with the 5G NR transmitter and 5G NR receiver, and can do a complete end-to-end together with power amplifier, DPD algorithms, and your antenna parts to simulate your end-to-end system. If you are interested to learn more on the hybrid beamforming, right, I would highly encourage you to go through this white paper, which is very detailed on like what is an hybrid beamforming and how do you achieve that, and how is it useful as well in this white paper from MathWorks. Quickly, my last topic is, okay, I have a question here. Is hybrid beamforming can we employ for 3D MIMO beamforming? Ranjit, could you please elaborate what do you mean by 3D beamforming? I mean, are you talking in terms of spatial thing? If you are able to unmute, it would be fine, or you can type in chat as well. Yeah, yes, definitely. Yeah, like as I maybe I'll go to a bit back. Yeah. It is spatial. Like if you see it covers entire 3D space. If you see the beamforming, right, at one point at the phased array we are using something called as elevation RF beamforming, okay, and at another digital baseband fault we are using azimuth beamforming. That means azimuth means it will translate it in terms of horizontal direction. Elevation means it will translate in x and y coordinate or along a z axis. So you will be able to how to say go through the entire 3D space using this hybrid beamforming technique. At one point you can do an elevation beamforming, at the other point you can do a azimuth beamforming through traverse through the entire 3D spherical shape. I hope that answers your question, Ranjit. So last part of this section, prototyping and implementation. So if if you see like, okay, I have a, like as I shown you in this section, right, I have constructed a model, and I have validated together with RF and antennas, and I am very confident that my baseband algorithm is working perfectly and I am achieving a very good results. The next step would be to how do I take this my baseband algorithm onto onto a real hardware, so that this will sit in the hardware, this will work through the actual RF card, and it will transmit through the actual antennas, and it will go through an actual channel, and you would see the actual results. So in order to do that, right, the next step would be to prototyping and implementing. So when you have a kind of this model, right, generally at this, when you are working as a starting level, we call it as a behavioral model. And we generally tend to work with how to say, uh, floating point values, double precision floating point values. So when you are going for implementation, the first step in going towards implementation is to convert the double precision floating point model into a fixed point model. Okay. And in order to do that, right, again, MathWorks defines the workflows, and it will also provide you the tools to simplify that workflow. So fixed point conversion is one of the step in the workflow towards implementation. And in order to simplify that workflow, we have something called as fixed point tool, which is again from fixed point designer toolbox. And it will, I mean, if you construct a Simulink model, you will be able to convert the double precision floating point model into a fixed point model directly using this fixed point tool. Uh, um, and I'll talk. I mean, once you convert the model into a fixed point, right, the next step would be to how to say, implement that model, whatever the model that you have, fixed point model, onto an hardware. So if you are trying to dump it into a hardware, you have two possible cases. One, you might be targeting towards an FPGA or a programmable logic on an SoC. For that case, you can use a product called as HDL coder, which can automatically generate synthesizable VHDL or very low code. That means you just have a model, and without you having to write a single bit of HDL code, it can automatically generate the HDL code for you, which it can also port onto the hardware, or you can port it onto the hardware by yourself as well. And again, the HDL code that is generated is completely white box, which is portable, editable, bit true, and cycle accurate to the original model. You can use HDL coder if you are going to target onto the devices like FPGAs or programmable logic on an SoC. But if you are onto like platforms like DSP platforms or an on an Android side or an app generation side, you might want to use an embedded coder to generate an optimized C or C++ code to target onto the DSP platforms like ARM processors or to the processor sitting on an SoC, right? So these are the two toolboxes that can help you with code generation and deploying your model, whatever that is in this phase, into a completely code generated and working on a real hardware. So again, just a quick point here. So when we are DSP TMS can be used? Yes, you can use it, Nazir. So as embedded coder is how to say, it is supported to generate an optimized embedded C or C++ code. You can use the embedded coder to generate that code, and you can put it onto the target hardware. So, I mean, one main point here between the behavioral model and making your model ready for code generation and generating the code, the blocks that you use in the model should be code generatable. That means they should be fixed point arithmetic, and they should be streaming algorithm based on these things. Even in this step, right, we have something called as the wireless HDL toolbox that provide you the blocks that you can use directly. I mean, the blocks that are HDL optimized and that are 5G NR compliant. That means, suppose if you want to use an LDPC encoder in your transmitter chain of your 5G system, you can directly pick a LDPC encoder from wireless HDL toolbox, which is completely HDL optimized, and you would be able to generate the HDL code. Either for that block or for an entire system that you might want to generate. Not only for the individual blocks, even the blocks list is only limited here, but there are so many other blocks if you go and look at a wireless HDL toolbox. To the organizers, maybe I think I'll take 2 more minutes and we'll come to a conclusion. Would that be okay?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. No issue.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir.
And other than the individual blocks, right, we also have on the receiver side, like if you're doing a 5G cell search or 5G MIB recovery algorithm, you can use these reference application algorithms which are directly HDL code generatable as well. And we have a question here: which MATLAB version is supporting 5G? I think 2018B. If you are on to latest version like 21A or anything, you would be able to have the support directly. But I think the version it started was with the 2018B, if I am not wrong. Okay, and in terms of prototyping and implementation, right? Also to help you with getting quickly started, we have a very good set of examples, especially on the 5G side, like how can you do a 5G NR cell search or MIB recovery, and these days we are seeing a lot of traction towards using RF SoCs, which are the new entrants into the hardware side, as a main tool for many customers. You can use the RF SoCs for your implementation, and these RF SoCs are readily supported for implementation using MATLAB and Simulink. Yeah, so it's a 5G toolbox starting from 18B. Okay. So that brings me to the last sections of the summary. So like as we discussed it through, right? I discussed it through baseband, RF, and antenna, and our main focus for this session stayed towards a particular parts like baseband, how we use it for 5G, and we discussed on waveform generator, waveform generation, ACLR and EVM measurements, and end-to-end link level simulation, and viewed that this is a completely open source code. But you can also use a communication toolbox, phase radar system toolbox for entire LTE, WNAN, and 5G toolbox, 5G toolbox for entire baseband generations for other types as well. And then we have RF front-end. Here, especially, we discussed on power amplifier part, and then the linearization of power amplifier by using the DPD algorithm, and how you can simulate that within a Simulink model. But again, you can construct entire RF front-end using RF toolbox and RF block set available from MathWorks and Simulink product suite. On the RF front end, we have looked at massive MIMO antennas and hybrid beamforming, which again, we talked about antenna toolbox, how you can design a single antenna and antenna array to quickly design. So one key point that I again reiterate is that you just not designing them individually. You're combining them all together in a one single platform like Simulink, which is a multi-domain platform, so that you are able to visualize the effects of what if my baseband signal pass through actual RF, what if pass through my antenna, and what if it pass through specific channels, what if there is rain, what if there is fog. You will be able to achieve them as well and do a complete end-to-end simulation. So I would say that MATLAB and Simulink can be a unified platform for your wireless design applications. And having said that, it doesn't stop at design part. We can also use our coder products to further prototype and implement your architectures onto hardware. You can leverage HDL coder and embedded coder and fixed point designer tools for fixed point conversion and VHDL or Verilog conversion and embedded code generations. Yeah, so if you ask me, so where can I go next step? What can be my immediate next step after this session? So one thing I would recommend is if you are new into a 5G and would like to look at differences from 4G LTE to 5G, I would recommend this is a 5G Explain series. As I pointed out earlier, is a 16 module course, which is short 10-minute videos, and explain you through all the physical layer parameters. If you would like to know more details on the 5G toolbox itself, I would highly recommend you to go to our product page, including the documentation where you can see complete details on the product and how it works. We also have a lot of white papers on our 5G implementation using MATLAB and Simulink, which you can go find at our products page. And next, okay, I read through the documents. What can I do next? Yes, you have a plethora of examples, starting from designing, modeling, simulating, both RF, hybrid. So I see a lot of questions coming in the chat now, especially on the hybrid beamforming and like how you can visualize some of your beamforms that are there. I mean, maybe we are ahead of the time, so we may not be able to cover that in this session. But I would be happy to share this slide deck to all of the participants, and you can specifically go through the examples listed here, introduction to hybrid beamforming, which will talk about in detail on the how you can achieve the hybrid beamforming and how you can model that in the MATLAB and Simulink platform as well. And we also have, like I pointed out, right, white paper, which will deal on specific intricacies on the hybrid beamforming as well. So again, if you post the session also, if you have any queries working with this, please feel free to reach out to us. Me, we have Ramana and Devarpita in the call. You can reach out to any of us. So just I mean, if you say like I am new to MATLAB and Simulink, or I am new into these platforms, where can I get started? So MATLAB on-ramp and Simulink on-ramp can be your best bets, where you can, it's an interactive and free interactive courses. You also do not need an installed version of MATLAB. You can just go to mathworks.com, create your MathWorks account with any of your Gmail accounts, and then you can access MATLAB on-ramp and Simulink on-ramp. And this will also not only provide you with the overview of how to use the tools, but it will, at the end, it will also provide you with the course completion certificates as well, which might help you in developing your digital resumes as well. Yeah, and not only on the MATLAB and Simulink, we have recent hotcakes in the industry. I think one of the focus of this series as well, machine learning and deep learning as well. So if you would like to know how you can employ MATLAB and Simulink, like in this session, we haven't touched on how you are employing MATLAB AI into 5G part, right? Which would be covered in tomorrow's session. But before that, if you want to know more details on how machine learning or deep learning workflows can be achieved through Simulink, I would recommend these free on-ramp courses. Yeah, and the final point, so if you would like to exploit full potential, like I want to know all the intricacies and the details of how I can use each of the product or products of your interest, right? We have a lot of trainings available. These are the paid training courses, which you can you can see in our website as well, and these are again can be customizable to your needs as well, and can be modified. So if you are interested in that, please go to mathworks.in/training, mathworks.in/training, and you will be able to find the list of courses and the outline of the training course as well. So yeah, please stay tuned to tomorrow's session as well, which is artificial intelligence for 5G wireless communication, wherein you will see how AI can be applied for 5G. Like today we have we have algorithms available in 5G toolbox for channel estimation and channel decoding and these things. But how can I do a channel estimation using AI or a deep learning? Those stuff will be discussed tomorrow, and please join us at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So that's all I want to cover for the today's session. I know this is a slightly long session, but I hope you had a good overview of what are the capabilities from 5G toolbox, RF part, antenna part, and how you can combine all together into one Simulink model and simulate them to have a better fidelity into the model, and how you can work on that. So with that, I conclude, and thanks to the organizers team for inviting us.
Participants, do you have any questions?
Yeah, sorry. As I slightly went ahead of the time, I haven't stopped there. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them, or during working also, if you have any questions regarding the regarding 5G toolbox or RF or antenna part, please feel free to reach out to at my email ID.
Sir, there are two questions are there, sir.
Uh-huh.
How to visualize a pencil beam main loop?
Yeah, I read through them, the pencil beam one thing, and hybrid pre-coding for how to say when it is running in Simulink. I would say that it is better to go through the documentation for these 2 points, and I can share the slide, the white paper that is reading through these ones. So we have a detailed white paper on this to the team or the participants. I think that would be a good source for you to go ahead through that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank you, sir. It was an outstanding presentation with brief explanation of 5G toolbox, and you divided that 5G tool. Whatever the parts are there, like RF part, massive MIMO antennas, hybrid beamforming, and this can help us in designing wireless communication system for the participants' resource purposes. It's a very nice session and informative session, sir. Thank you very much, sir.